Good morning, everyone. So while everyone's busy looking at, the Roe versus Wade and, different other things across overseas with, Ukraine, Russia, and China, and Japan, cashless societies has hit United States. Now, for a while now, they've tried with the thing that we've been dealing with the past couple of years where people were not taking cash. They had registers where they took cash only or a card, but then they had other registers that said card only, no cash. Yeah, Boston, if you look it up, there's many news places showing where certain places around the United States, like Subway, Family Dollar, especially like a lot of like baseball games and different other sports, you either need to use like an Apple Pay, your phone, pay ahead of time. Yeah. So they're coming up with all these ways to go cashless, and the new reason is they're tired of keeping cash because they're tired of getting robbed. Yeah. So, let's throw a society into total chaos and, people aren't making the money that they were making because, well, you can't go work because of the whole thing we've been dealing with the past couple of years. And then, the crime uptick and, gee, you got more people acting out in violence and robbing places. Even here, closer and closer and closer it gets where you hear of robberies. People holding up banks, people holding up pharmacies. This is what this is coming to. So several months ago, I talked about certain European, in Europe, they were using chips in the wrist or the arm or the hand, and and people thought this was good, and people still think this is good. So news crews around the United States are going around the streets and just asking people, and they're all up for it. There was a couple of women who were like, well, no, that's not good. That's not going to work for me. And she was holding like a $20 bill in her hand. Cash and coins. That's how people have paid for a long time. People had to get used to paying with a credit card, debit card. People had to get used to then of putting their card in the other way and using the chip side. And then ding, 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 ding. There's a chip shortage again. Well, why? The stuff that they make the chips with, is it North Carolina, where there's those mines where they cut it off to people going mining there because the governments were over there mining instead. And, now there's a worldwide chip shortage. Well, why is that? What are they needing so many chips for? Oh, devices. You can't do much anymore without having some kind of smartphone or computer, some of these older people, even me, I'm up until a couple of years ago, I didn't really have a lot of devices and this and that. But now it's like you almost have to have these technologies in your home to buy and sell and all kinds of things. Even a fax machine, you would have to go, if you don't have one, you'd have to go to like a Staples. And then even then, well, maybe soon, if you don't have cash, or if you have cash in your hand, you won't be able to use that. You'll have to swipe a card or show a payment on your phone. This is getting pretty nuts, people. We knew this was coming, but in the past month and a half, 2 months, all around the United States, certain mom and pop shops are tired of getting robbed, so they're going cashless. So check it out. And there's signs everywhere. And if you live in a place where you have these type of signs, email me and let me know. It's in my About section. So it's apocalypticfairy@gmail.com.
Issue, right?
Some community advocates, though, say going cashless is discriminatory. Those services aren't accessible to people without bank accounts. That's 5% of Americans, according to the FDIC.
It's not easy to be poor and to have a bank account in the United States. You often need to have a minimum balance in your bank account, otherwise you're paying fees.
Cash is still king in places like Philadelphia and New Jersey, which have banned most stores from going cashless. However, economists say, though well-intentioned, such laws don't necessarily help unbanked people.
They're still excluded from stores who do not accept cash.
I would say some kind of a free checking account system that European nations have would be a more appropriate response, but that cannot be done at the local level.
Instead, they suggest offering services and support so more people can pay digitally. Several fintech startups have launched apps for mobile banking and payments.
It will take time, but eventually people will adapt to a cashless society wholeheartedly, and it will include everyone.
Hershey Park will still be accessible to those without a credit or debit card. They can buy Visa gift cards at cash-to-card kiosks.
Well, Lisa and David, Fenway Park is turning 110 years old next week, but you wouldn't even guess because officials say every offseason they're dedicated to bringing something new for the fans, and this year isn't any different.
This is one of our most aggressive off-season improvements.
America's most beloved ballpark, boasting a brand new 8,000 square foot concourse area. The park now going cashless.
We'll remove our card.
Accepting only credit cards or touchless payments.
And then we're ready to go right back to our seats.
I think going cashless is an amenity to our fans because it'll mean better speed of service, more accuracy.
I think it's okay because I typically don't have cash.
You know, I don't mind. I guess I'll bring my credit card and not worry about cash anymore. It's fine with me.
And for those who stick to cash only.
I know plenty of people that don't like carrying cards or having credit cards or anything like that. So I think if they want to pay cash, they should be able to.
You'll still have a way to pay. Officials say fans with cash can load money onto a debit card at one of several kiosks around the park.
We don't want the inconvenience, so we actually have reverse ATMs. So there will be 3 locations.
And in addition to concession stands, vendors around the ballpark will also have those cashless payment devices. Live in Boston.